Chucky Beat Production.
Well, where we had to go is right there, guys. So I'm going to inform you guys about what's there. And here it is, guys, the all-new McLaren Elva, which is basically an open-top McLaren. Later. So here it is, guys, the McLaren Elva, recently brand new and everything. Man, indeed. Although the best thing about the McLaren Elva, if you guys don't even realize, is actually it's all exposed gloss carbon fiber, which actually is more of a British racing green tint. So itself, if you guys couldn't even tell, it's actually an all open exposed speedster. As you tell, no windshield and no everything. You guys could actually basically see. The seats themselves are actually all carbon bucket seats, but it actually is Alcantara and leather. And harnesses as well, which is very good. Another thing about the Elva, if you guys can't actually tell, PP3, which actually stands for the prototype vehicle. This is basically is a premium prototype, and this is the third version of the Elva. If you guys can tell, this is basically like an experimental car itself. The engine wise for the McLaren Elva is basically the same as every McLaren whatsoever. A 4.0 liter twin turbo V8, but pretty much sure this is the hybrid version, or it's basically the all gas version. Closer look within the first person or cockpit view, honestly very nice. Still use the casual McLaren steering wheel itself. Pretty key thing, right? You basically can tell the whole entire rear is actually the mixture between the 765 LT or the 720S, but mixed in with the 600 LT for the diffuser wise. Oh, another thing you guys can basically tell, right? The headlights themselves are almost as similar as the McLaren Speedtails, but it's basically due to me. But the splitter, or basically the little front lip, is actually the 765 LT itself. Everything itself is basically all aerodynamic. I know you guys probably may be thinking to yourselves, oh, how do you drive this? You basically have to drive it with a helmet or basically your glasses. You basically try to drive this out on the road now, then basically it'll be a big time. Basically, quote unquote, in English, it'll be hard for you to basically see while driving. Another key feature the guys don't actually know, right? It actually has 4 exhausts. 2 main ones over here, but they're basically the output exhaust, but the input exhaust are basically right there. You guys can't actually realize or tell. I like how Contact McLaren, right, they actually put this, but it actually could be like possibly as a roadster or spider version of it, if you guys don't know what I mean. I'm pretty much sure someone actually did a full render video, or basically a JPEG or full Photoshop as a full roof, or like a spider version. I actually will put the photo right here if you guys can't tell what I mean. The best part about even the Elva, you guys can basically tell, right? Also, the exterior itself is all carbon, but the interior as well is basically the same. As you can tell, it's basically an all open top car itself. But it uses regular mats, which is basically the big quirk or goof. Another thing you guys can basically tell, that central control panel is basically the same as the McLaren Senna as well. And then there's the price alone. How much for McLaren Elva? This basically is 1.4 million of them. There's 149 ever made worldwide, but this is basically is a prototype or premium edition of it. So basically this makes this very rare and special itself. So if you guys want to know how to open up the Elva, the button is basically right there-ish. So if you want to do it, you basically have to do it like so, like you have to cuff it at least. There you go. See, and that's how the doors actually all open up. They still use the same dihedral doors, or butterfly doors as you guys would like to call them. See, it even has the plaque right there. 0 out of 0 because it's basically a prototype car, right? Got it. So what's I saying of a McLaren Elva? Unfortunately, the only thing that I had to worry about is basically this big carbon fiber piece. So basically, you have to do this quite. And just like that, I'm in. Sorry. And now sitting inside of a McLaren Elva. This is basically POV lifestyle.
PP production.
Okay, I'm about to say, because that was a loud slam just now. I was like, oh, I don't have the money to even pay this. But the McLaren Elva, honestly, do love it myself. The seats themselves are very comfy, even though these are harnesses. But man, quite bad to like. So close-up inspection, look right, these are actual vents. I thought these like little storage compartments. I thought this too as well. But as usual, here's the engine to start. So basically you have drive, neutral, and reverse. The emergency hatch as well. The screen itself is actually fully displayable, if you guys can basically tell. This is basically the volume sensor. But the steering wheel itself is all Alcantara and all gloss carbon itself. Or should I say wet carbon. So yeah, within the interior itself is honestly very nice itself. Even though it could be option with harnesses, but the regular seats honestly feel very nice indeed. It's also very good. And how you get outside of a McLaren Elva is the button right here, which you gotta lift up carefully. Doors do like that, and there you go. And how to get out, as usual, get this in mind of 5'10". Don't want to break it. So yeah, honestly, quite different I do like. The seats themselves are very comfy, unlike than the McLaren Senna. The Senna seats are honestly very good themselves. Also, a little like good feature, the doors themselves are aerodynamic too, because of the little see-through hole itself. Hello, very nice itself. But yeah, that's my review of the McLaren Elva. Whatever, get one day? Probably for 1.4 mil, sure, I will. So yeah, a little quick feature. Now time to close it back in, but don't want to slam it at least. But there you go. And it's honestly very nice.